It wasn't until Alex Harvey put his bike away and locked the shed that he realized how tired he felt. The 2-hour session at his karate club had been especially intense, and then typically he had ridden the 5 miles home as fast as he could. He dragged his suddenly heavy feet up the path to the front door and went inside. "Is that you, Alex?" called a voice from the kitchen. "It is," replied Alex as he looked in and saw Jess's stepsister at the table bent over her laptop. "Want me to heat up the leftovers?" asked Jess. "Thanks, Jess, but I'd better have a shower and change first, I'm a bit sticky." "Good idea, I can smell you from here." Alex laughed and headed upstairs, and Jess returned to her laptop. Although they were only related by marriage, Alex and Jess were very close. Alex's mother had died when he was only 4, and he had really struggled for 2 years until his dad married again and Sue and her daughter Jess suddenly came into his life. As soon as he met Sue, he quickly became attached to her and to Jess, much to the delight and relief of Sue and his dad. Even before the wedding, he was referring to Sue as Mom and Jess as his sister. They were a very happy group until Alex's dad was killed in a car accident 2 years ago. They were devastated by the loss, and it took months before the pain began to ease. The only consolation was that the tragedy brought them even closer together. Alex's dad had been a successful lawyer, and together with his life insurance he left them well off. Sue had been a senior buyer of high-end women's clothes at Harrods, but she resigned after her husband's death so she could spend more time with Jess and Alex. Sue loved her work and was exceptionally good, and after things had stabilized she had not been able to resist the pull of returning to work. Because she now had financial security, she decided to return to work, but this time as an independent buyer, someone who could represent small retailers specializing in high-end women's clothing. Because of her excellent reputation and contacts in the industry, Sue had been able to quickly establish a successful business and now employed a staff of 6 women. Her company was called Bowman Fashion Consulting, as Sue had kept her last name when she married Alex's dad. Sue and another woman were the main buyers, and the others ran the office, which was situated in central London. After showering, Alex dressed in a t-shirt and shorts and went back down to the kitchen. Jess looked up and smiled as he entered, and they exchanged a quick hug. "I put the remains of the casserole and mashed potatoes in the microwave," she said. 2 minutes later, Alex was sitting opposite his stepsister eating his late dinner. "You're looking tired," observed Jess. "Hard night?" "Yes, it was pretty intense," replied Alex. "How was your day?" "Wonderful," said Jess with a grin. "I lazed around in the garden reading and calling friends. It's such a relief to have finished school and have an easy couple of days before I start working at Mum's office next week. I can't say I'm looking forward to spending the summer in skirts and dresses, but that seems to be the price I had to pay for getting her to even allow me to apply for the summer camp with United. Honestly, Alex, I think her mission in life is to turn me into some sort of lady. She doesn't seem to get it that I'm not interested in clothes and shopping." Alex made some sympathetic noises. "I can see both points of view. She has made her career out of fashion, and she probably thought that you would too. You, on the other hand, are such a terrific footballer that it would be a real waste not to pursue that as much as possible. I'll support you all I can, Jess." "Thanks, Alex. It's good to have you in my corner." Jess was 17 and would be going into her final year of school in the autumn. Alex was a year older and had just completed his school life. He was thinking of working for a year before deciding what career path to follow. "So Alex, have you decided what you are going to do over the summer and also for next year?" asked Jess. Alex looked thoughtful and said, "I do have some thoughts, but I'd rather not say just now." Jess grinned and said, "Well, aren't you the mysterious one? Not going tree planting in Scotland again then?" Alex laughed and said, "That was rather tough, wasn't it?" "No, I think I'll try something different this time." "Knowing you, Alex, it will be something different and probably outrageous," said Jess. "You'll be the first to know," Alex assured her. Jess's words were accurate. To what extent the loss of both parents at a young age affected him is difficult to say, but Alex had become an unusual young man with a very strong sense of self. He was never bothered about what other people thought of him, which helped make him popular with his peers. One of the things about Alex was that he loved a challenge and relished pushing himself outside his own comfort zone. He had been a strong and beneficial influence to Jess, and she loved him as though he were her real brother. A year ago she had signed up with Alex to go tree planting in Scotland, which had proven very arduous. The year before that, Alex had been the youngest competitor in the Bob Graham Round, a grueling 66-mile race in the fells of the Lake District. He managed to finish the event in a respectable time, but had difficulty walking downstairs for a week. During the summer he had worked backstage at a summer theater company, and because of illness to one of the cast had made a few appearances in a minor role. As he was a keen member of his school's drama group, he had managed the stage appearances with aplomb. While Sue actually encouraged Alex in most of his challenging enterprises, she tended to be more protective of Jess, much to her daughter's annoyance. Alex and Jess were both very athletic. Alex played rugby in the winter and cricket during the summer, both to a good standard. He had been involved in karate since he was 9 and had achieved considerable success. Jess, by contrast, was a one-sport person. She played midfield for both her school football team and also a women's club team, usually competing against much older players. Her dream was to play professionally. She had applied to attend a summer camp that was organized by Manchester United for promising girls, but was disappointed when she received an email informing her that her application had not been successful. It was only a slight consolation that the club had promised to watch her progress and that perhaps a spot would open up next year. Alex finished his dinner and gave a loud yawn. "Sorry, Jess, I can feel my bed calling urgently and I don't want to fall asleep on you. Let's do something together tomorrow, you can choose." Jess was pleased that with all the friends that Alex had, he most wanted to spend time with her. She stayed up a little longer and then made her way upstairs to bed. Alex woke the next morning feeling refreshed. There was no sound from Jess's room, so he got dressed and headed out for a run. 45 minutes later he returned, and as he passed Jess's door he heard her getting up. He had finished his shower and was just coming downstairs when he heard a gasp, followed shortly after by a groan coming from the kitchen. When he entered he saw Jess sitting with her head in her hands. When she looked up he could see that her face was a picture of misery. "Jess, what on earth is wrong?" Jess gave a sniff and pointed to the screen of her laptop. It was a message from one of the staff at Manchester United saying that due to one of the invitees having to drop out, a place had opened up and they were offering it to Jess. "But Jess, this is wonderful. It's exactly what you wanted. What is the problem?" "Oh, Alex, don't you see, I have committed to working for Mom and she is relying on me. I just can't leave her in the lurch." "Couldn't you find someone to take your place?" asked Alex. "Not at such short notice. In any way it would have to be someone she knew and trusted. You know what she's like, Alex. Once you make a commitment she expects you to carry through with it." "But Jess," protested Alex, "this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Is there any way that we can contact her?" Jess shook her head gloomily and said, "No, she is completely out of touch for the next week on her trip in the Sahara. And due to start on Monday, and I feel that I can't let her down." "Have you responded to the email yet?" asked Alex anxiously. "I was just about to when you came in," replied Jess. "Don't do anything just yet," insisted Alex. "I have an idea, but I need a few minutes to think it through." "Jess, go for a walk, kick a ball about, do whatever you like, but I need a few minutes here to myself. Come back in an hour." Jess shrugged her shoulders and left the kitchen, while Alex sat down and began working on Jess's laptop. An hour later Jess returned just as Alex was finishing a call on his phone. He looked at her with a big grin and said, "Okay Jess, problem solved. You are going to Manchester, so you had better pack and I can drive you up there tomorrow." "Alex, this is crazy. What have you done?" asked Jess. "First I called the club and checked that the invitation was genuine and not some cruel hoax or worse. It is genuine, so I replied to the email and your place is confirmed." "But Alex, I never doubted the invitation. The main issue is still my commitment to Mom. You said that she would be okay with someone that she knew and trusted taking your place." "And just who is that going to be?" demanded Jess. "Me," replied Alex simply. Jess shook her head in exasperation. "Alex, I know you mean well, but this is completely barmy. Rachel Briggs, the office manager, is expecting Mom's daughter to turn up for work on Monday, not her stepson. Has she ever met you? Asked Alex. No, but what difference does that make? In case you had not noticed, you do not look like anyone's daughter. Jess, please sit down for a moment and listen to what I have to say. Last night you asked me what my plans were for the summer, and I was a bit cagey because while I had worked out what I wanted to do, I wasn't sure about the how. Now I am. Jess looked puzzled and said, "You wanted to work for Mom, is that what you are telling me?" "Not exactly, although that will be what happens," explained Alex. "What I really want is to live as a girl for the summer." Jess stared at him in disbelief. "Alex, am I hearing things? Did you just say that you wanted to be a girl for the summer?" "Yes, Jess, that is exactly what I said." Jess was silent for a few moments. She seemed to be temporarily robbed of speech. "Alex, are you trying to tell me that you are transgender?" she finally managed. Alex thought for a moment before replying. "I don't think so," he said. Jess spread her hands and said, "Then why?" Alex sighed and said, "I'm not fully sure, Jess, but I'm really attracted to the idea." When Jess continued to stare at him, he continued, "I've thought about it a lot, and my conclusion is that there may be several reasons. Perhaps I had better list them. One is that I really make that love, women and girls." Jess interrupted, "Well, I love dogs, but I have no desire to become one or live like one." Alex laughed and said, "Fair enough, but that is only one of the reasons, and to be fair, you jumped in before I had chance to finish my point. As I said, I love women, and it distresses me that they so often get the short end of the stick in society. I've always associated with the underdog, and I believe that men might be a bit more understanding if they experienced firsthand what women go through. One of the other reasons is that I'm genuinely curious as to what it is like to be a girl or a woman. I've often wondered what it would be like to suddenly wake up and find that mysteriously in the night I had suddenly become a girl. How would I cope, and what would it feel like to effectively be in a different world, one that was both familiar and very unfamiliar? Another reason is that I believe that I take more inspiration from women's achievements, especially in the field of sport and also areas of life where the male dominates, like the military and the flight deck of passenger planes. One of my heroes, or I suppose I should say heroines, is a woman called Jane Couch. She was the first licensed female professional boxer in Britain. Although she won numerous world titles, her hardest fights were always against the boxing establishment, who were of course all men. She prevailed eventually, but it took a lot of guts and perseverance. I could give you more names, but I don't want to bore you. You aren't boring me, Alex, I'm just a bit overwhelmed, but please do go on, said Jess, who had a slightly dazed expression on her face. Most men think that the life of a woman must be much more inferior to being a man. I have never thought this, and in fact, I think it would be a great privilege to live as a woman or girl for a few weeks. There is one other reason, said Alex, and he began to blush a little. What is it? Asked Jess. I'd love to wear a dress or skirt and feel it move about me as I walked. I find the thought of going to work in a dress or skirt tremendously exciting, although I'm sure that sounds really weird. Jess thought for a moment before replying. Have you ever worn my things, Alex, or Mom's? Alex shook his head and said, No, Jess, I never have, although I would like to have. You have no idea how I have envied you when you wear a dress or skirt. Jess smiled and said, It's okay, Alex, I don't think you are weird, and I really respect the fact that you have never touched our stuff. As you know, I'm not the dress and skirt sort of girl, much to Mom's disappointment, but lots of girls love to wear them, so I can understand the attraction. I think I can also understand the curiosity angle. Boys and girls are so different, and I've often wondered what it would be like to be a boy. In some ways it's easier for girls, because they can wear anything and not be thought weird, but boys are not supposed to be like girls in any way. My concern is that you are talking about taking my place in an office of women. They will know in an instant that you are really a boy. Of course they will, said Alex. That's why I intend to tell them that I'm transitioning. Jess gave a gasp. But you said that you didn't think you were transgender, she said. I don't think I am, but they don't know that. But what about Mom? She'll have a fit. I'll tell her exactly what I have just told you about why I want to do this. Jess, I'm not planning to make this some sort of game. I plan to do this properly and I would love to have your help and support. Jess jumped up and gave her stepbrother a hug. You'll always have that, dear brother, and maybe you could look convincing as a girl. You do have facial features, which while not exactly feminine, could look convincing with the right help. I know you, Alex. Once your mind is made up, there is no stopping you. What can I do to help? I've already called Sally Burgess, who did most of the makeup for the summer theater company I was with last year, and she has agreed to see me today. Also, I'm going to contact the voice coach from the theater to get some lessons on how to sound more feminine. Obviously, I won't be able to sound like a girl by next week, but I do intend to practice. What I need from you, Jess, is help with clothes and one of your friends who could coach me while you are away. It would need to be someone who would not freak out at the idea. Jess thought for a while and then suddenly she smiled. Amy would do it. I don't think you have met her, but she plays on my team. She is quite a character, plays a physical game and is very forthright, but she also has a strong feminine side. I think that you two would get along well. I'll give her a call and see what she says. What time are you seeing Sally? 11 a.m., replied Alex. Okay, I'll see if we can meet Amy for lunch at 1 p.m., said Jess as she picked up her phone. Hi Amy, it's Jess here. Look, I need to talk to you about something important. Are you able to meet for lunch? It will be my treat. You can? Great, I'll see you at Dixie's and I'll have my brother Alex with me. He's the thing that's important. Don't worry, I'll explain it all when we meet. Bye. Jess looked at her brother with a grin. We are all set, she said. I'm coming with you to Sally's and I can't wait to see how you will turn out. The transformation begins. Okay, Alex, stand up for a moment, said Jess as she came back into the kitchen holding a tape measure. You can't go to lunch with Amy and I looking like a girl and dressed as a boy, so we are going to stop at a charity shop and get you a couple of casual skirts or dresses so you won't look so out of place. Jess ran the tape around Alex's waist. 31 inches, she said. Remind me how tall you are, Alex. I'm 5'9". I don't think we'll have any difficulty finding something for you this morning, and we may have time for the three of us to get your work clothes. Mom insisted that I get new skirts and dresses for work and she is letting me use her account at one of the fancy clothing shops that she buys for, so you can use it instead. I'm sure Amy will really enjoy getting you all girled up. There was a charity shop on the way to Sally's house and it did not take Jess long to find what she was looking for. Alex was wearing jeans and a t-shirt and Jess found a denim and also a black leather skirt, both of which would go well with a simple t-shirt. These are staples for any girl, said Jess. Even I have a denim skirt and leather always looks cool. She also found a colorful summer dress which she was sure would fit Alex. Okay, soon-to-be sister, let's see what magic Sally can weave and then you can try this lot on. She suddenly stopped on her way to the counter and began looking at handbags on a table. No more pockets for you, dear sister. This will do for now, but you will need more handbags when you are working. Girls and women need to coordinate their clothes with their bags. She had selected a plain black shoulder bag, which was still in good condition, and they took this and the clothes to the cashier. Thus prepared, they headed over to meet Sally. Sally greeted Alex and Jess with warm hugs when she met them at the door of her flat. Come on through to the sitting room where the light is brightest and let's see what I have to work with, said Sally. Alex, you always were full of surprises, but this is really something, even by your standards. Sally sat Alex down at a table on which was stacked various jars, pots, brushes and other objects that Alex was completely unfamiliar with. I see you have had a good shave, noted Sally. Fortunately you have fair hair and quite a light covering of facial hair, which will make things easier. For this first session I am not going to do any teaching, but I will give a commentary and Jess can film it on her phone so that you can refer to it later if this all works out. I am fairly confident that I can make you at least a convincing girl, but you will have to practice your makeup skills a lot in the next couple of weeks. She started by plucking, trimming and shaping Alex's eyebrows, which he did not enjoy. You have to be tough to be a girl, Alex, so come on, stop being a little boy, you are a big girl now, said Sally with a chuckle. Sally was used to working on actors where time was limited, so after 20 minutes she took a final look and declared herself satisfied. Alex always wore his hair long, usually in a ponytail, so Sally arranged it in a more feminine style. You will have to go to a hairdresser, Alex, and have it properly styled, but now it fits your new face a bit better. Now no looking in the mirror until you are dressed, so that you get the whole transformation effect. Let's start with your dress. You can change in the spare room. Alex was excited to see his new look, and he found his fingers trembling a little as he took his clothes off and then pulled the dress over his head. A little flutter ran through him as the skirt tumbled down his body and gently swirled about his legs. He tried a little twirl and was delighted with the feel of the dress skirt rushing over his bare legs. He made his way back into the sitting room and gave a quiet cough. Sally and Jess turned quickly and gave a collected gasp. Even though they had seen Alex's gradual transformation, they were still surprised at the full effect that the dress had on his appearance. "Wow, Alex," said Jess, "you look like a really pretty girl. Maybe this can work. The women at the office will still know that you are really a boy, but you do look very convincing." "Thanks, Sally, this is beyond what I thought possible. You have done a terrific job," gushed Alex. "You are welcome, my dear," said Sally, giving him a hug. "Call me if you need more help, but I expect that Jess will be able to teach you what you need to know now that she has seen your potential." Alex put his shoes on, which were a battered pair of blue trainers. Jess and Sally both shook their heads. "That will never do," said Sally. "Wait a minute." And she disappeared into her bedroom, appearing again with a pair of white flip-flops. "Try these, Alex. Someone gave them to me and they are too big, but they may fit you." "Much better," said Sally. "You can keep them as they are no use to me. Now one last thing, stand here in the light, Alex." "Ah yes, I thought so. You can see right through that dress. You will need a petticoat, my dear." Again Sally went to her bedroom and came back waving a frilly white petticoat that she handed to Alex. He stepped into it and pulled it up under his dress and turned to face Sally. "All decent now," she said with a nod of approval. "Women don't often wear them now, but I still love the feel of them against my legs, and I also love to flash a bit of lace when I'm feeling naughty. Return it when you get the chance." Alex swished and twirled and a smile began to grow on his face. "I'm definitely getting one of these," he said, and Jess rolled her eyes. The three finally exchanged warm hugs and Alex and Jess left after Alex had promised to keep Sally informed of his progress in his new venture. When they reached Dixie's, Amy was already there sitting at a table. She and Jess greeted each other with hugs and air kisses. Amy was strongly built and little shorter than Alex. She had short dark hair and a big smile. She looked at Alex curiously and said, "Jess, who's your friend? I thought that you were bringing your brother Alex." "I'm Alex and I'm really pleased to meet you, Amy. I'm hoping that you can help me." Amy's jaw dropped in amazement and for a few moments she was lost for words. "How can I help you, Alex?" she finally managed to ask. "By helping to feminize me," replied Alex. "You seem to have done a pretty good job without my help," observed Amy with a smile. At this point Jess intervened. "Alex, I think we need to tell Amy the whole story." And so Alex and Jess did, and when they had finished Amy burst out laughing. "Alex, they broke the mold when they made you. You are the most unusual person I have ever met, but I love what you are doing for your sister and I'll be delighted to help you. This is going to be so much fun. Now what specifically do you want me to do?" "Coach, mentor, supporter, would be a good start. Jess will be away for 2 weeks, so I will need to lean on you quite a bit," said Alex. "I can do that. Why don't we start this afternoon with some shopping? Lots of girls love to shop, so you will get to experience one of the delights of being a girl." The service at Dixie's was quick, and so they were soon able to start their shopping quest. "Do you plan on dressing all the way from your undies out?" asked Amy as they walked to the nearby underground station. "Night and day," replied Alex. "Okay, let's do your undies first," said Amy. They got off at Oxford Street, and as they went up the escalator Alex could feel the warm air from below rushing up under his dress and causing it to billow like a sail. He felt such a thrill that as soon as they reached the top he insisted on going back down to experience the feeling all over again. "We'll never get you out of skirts now," sighed Jess as Alex reached the top for the second time. They finally exited the station and headed straight for Marks and Spencer. "You'll need 8 to 10 pair of knickers," said Amy as they entered the shop. "I don't intend to wear knickers," responded Alex. "But you said you were going the whole way," said Jess. "I will wear panties. It's a much prettier name and I intend to wear pretty panties," said Alex haughtily, much to the amusement of Amy and Jess. Alex selected 8 of the prettiest panties that he could find and put them in a shopping basket. "If you are going to dress for an office, Alex, you will need some shapewear, otherwise your skirts will have a bulge where they shouldn't," Amy pointed out, so these were also added to the basket. "Are you planning on wear a bra?" asked Amy. "Of course," replied Alex. "It's all part of being a girl, and anyway, I don't think going braless would pass muster in Mum's office." "Well, we may need some help in fitting you," said Amy, "as you should really be measured by someone who knows what they are doing." Before they could stop him, Alex approached one of the assistants. "Can I help you?" she asked, with a surprised look as she saw that Alex was not a natural girl. "I hope so, Emily," said Alex, reading the girl's name badge. Amy and Jess watched in astonishment as Alex continued. "You see, Amy, today is a very special day for me, and I am hoping that you can make it even more special and wonderful. This is the first day that I am presenting fully as a girl after years of wanting to. My sister here and friend are helping me transition. Now you could of course be really mean to me, or you could make my day by treating me like any other girl. Which will it be?" Emily's face relaxed into a warm smile. "I think you are very brave," she said. "It will be my pleasure to help you. Please tell me exactly what you need." Alex, with the help of Jess and Amy, explained the situation. Emily thought for a moment and then said, "I think your best option would be a padded bra, which will give you a bit up front. Lots of girls are small-breasted, so you won't look unusual. I'll measure you and then you can try some different styles." With the measurements complete, Emily led them over to the large selection of bras and indicated those that had padding. She stayed with them while Alex, Jess, and Amy made their selections. "Anything else I can help you with?" asked Emily. "Night dresses, slips, and petticoats," said Alex promptly. Emily frowned and said, "I'm afraid we don't have much of a selection in slips and petticoats, as most girls and women don't wear them now. I know they make one feel very feminine, so I suggest that you have a look online where you will have a much better selection. Night dresses are over here. Are you looking for long or short, cotton or something fancier?" "I'm going to be a girly girl, so I'm looking for long and fancy." Emily laughed and said, "Good for you, you are going to love being a girl." She showed them where the night dresses were displayed, and after determining that they did not need any further help, prepared to leave. Alex called her back. "Emily, thank you for being so kind and professional. I intend to contact the management and tell them how pleased I am with the way you have treated me." Emily blushed with pleasure as she walked away. Jess shook her head at Alex and said, "I shouldn't be surprised by you after all these years, Alex, but you are really quite remarkable. Most guys would have been horribly embarrassed in this situation, but you were so cool, and it was very nice what you said to Emily." Amy added her agreement. "We should get your work clothes next, Alex," said Amy. "And then we will know what sort and color of shoes you will need." "Shouldn't I have at least one pair of heels in black so I can see how the skirts would look?" asked Alex. Jess and Amy stared at each other in astonishment. "Alex, I think you must have been a girl in a previous life," said Amy. "You are quite right, it's a good idea. And while I think of it, we have to get you a handbag. We'll start with something versatile that will be okay with most outfits. I have at least one I can give you, but you do need something right now, as that bag you have from the charity shop won't do for work." Fortunately, they were able to get one that fit all Alex's needs, and even better, it was on sale. They left Marks and Spencer and started off down Oxford Street. They were passing a discount shoe shop and made a quick detour inside. 10 minutes later, they emerged with a plain pair of 3-inch heels in basic black and resumed their quest. The retailer that Sue had selected for Jess's work clothes wasn't far away, so they decided to walk. Again, Alex felt excited by the feel of his dress and petticoat floating around his legs as he walked, and he thoroughly enjoyed the trip to the shop. "Smaller steps, Alex," chided Amy. You are walking like a sergeant major on parade. Your dress will still swing if you take smaller steps and narrow your gait. Alex did his best to comply, and a few minutes later they arrived at a small upmarket clothing shop and went inside. They were greeted by a pleasant middle-aged woman. "Hello, you must be Alex," she said, giving Alex a warm smile. "Okay, young lady, let's get you measured and we can see what would suit you. You must be really excited starting work for the first time." Alex looked at Jess with a puzzled expression. "I called ahead while you were in the changing room and explained the situation, so Meg here knows exactly what is happening and is pleased to help," explained Jess. "Right," said Meg after she had taken her measurements. "Now I can select some outfits and you can see which ones you like. I know that your mom will want to take you clothes shopping herself, so today is just to get you started. We are looking at about 10 days, so I think you will need 3 skirts and some tops, plus at least 1 dress. Go into the changing room with your sister and friend and I'll bring over some things to try." An hour later, Team Alex left the shop with 2 pencil skirts, one black and the other navy, a bright yellow pleated skirt, 2 white blouses and one that was black and white striped in a dress. "That is a good start, Alex. Thanks for coming by and good luck next week in your new role," said Meg as she saw them to the door. "Shoes next," announced Amy. "And then I think that we should call it a day. This shopping, although not an actual contact sport, is quite draining." They returned to the shoe shop they had visited earlier, and when they emerged, Alex had bought another pair of heels in navy blue, some white sandals and a pair of pink and white flats which Amy and Jess insisted that Alex would need for the walk to and from work. They considered going to a restaurant in the city, but instead decided to go back to Alex and Jess's house and order pizza. "That way we can relax with wine, and Amy, you could stay the night. You can borrow some pajamas from me, Alex can wear one of his new nighties and we can have a real girls' sleepover," said Jess excitedly, and Amy and Alex readily agreed. When they reached home, Alex opened a bottle of wine, while Jess phoned for pizza, after which they all changed into sleepwear. Amy and Jess oohed their approval when Alex appeared in one of his new ankle-length nightdresses. It was jet black with lace trim around the bodice and spaghetti straps and appeared to shimmer when he moved. Jess went up to her mom's bedroom and reappeared with a black silk dressing gown which she handed to Alex. The 2 girls also suggested that Alex wear his new heels to get used to them. The combination of silky nightdress and high heels was quite stunning, and Jess and Amy suddenly felt quite dowdy, so they also raided Sue's bedroom, and soon all 3 were clad in their satin finery, eating pizza, sipping wine, and excitedly discussing plans for the next day. "Alex, I have booked you an appointment with my hairdresser tomorrow at 9, said Amy. "I think you need extensions to increase the options for your hairstyle. It will take about 3 hours, but it really is worth it," said Amy. "But I'm driving Jess to Manchester tomorrow," protested Alex. "Alex, there will be lots of time," said Jess. "I'll meet you at the hairdresser's and we can leave straight away." "No pressure, Amy, but I'd really like it if you could come with me. That way you could give me girl lessons on the way home," said Alex. "Alex, I'd love to come and I'm sure that it will be as much fun as today," said Amy. "So how are you enjoying being a girl?" asked Jess. "I have had a wonderful day," said Alex enthusiastically. "It's like I am seeing the world through different eyes. Look, I am well aware that I'm still a boy in a dress, but this is probably as close as I am going to get to being feminine." "Unless you opt for the surgery," said Amy. "I'm not planning to," observed Alex with a smile. "How about getting your ears pierced?" persisted Amy. "Yes, I'm fine with that sort of surgery," replied Alex. "Good, we can get it done tomorrow at the hairdresser's. You are going to love dangly earrings, Alex. I'll help you choose some, although you won't be able to wear them for a while." They talked for another hour or so and finished a second bottle of wine before they all began to feel a little sleepy. After instructing Alex how to remove his makeup and finding Amy a new toothbrush, they all retired for the night. Again, Alex relished the unfamiliar feel of the nightdress caressing his legs as he climbed into bed. He was still thinking about it when he fell into a deep sleep and was only woken by Jess shaking him. "Time to get up, sis. You need to be at the hairdresser's in an hour. Amy will help you with your makeup and I'll get us something quick for breakfast." Alex decided to dress casually, and after putting on one of his new bras and a pair of panties, he selected a plain t-shirt and his denim skirt and threw a hoodie over his shoulders. "Alex, you look terrific," said Amy when he presented himself to her. "Have a seat by the mirror here and I'll soon have you looking even better, and when Ella is done with you this morning even your mom won't recognize you." "That may be a good thing," said Alex with a grin. At breakfast, they decided that Jess would stay home and finish her packing and Amy would accompany Alex to the hairdresser's. Ella greeted Alex and Amy warmly and seated Alex at her station. She brought over her iPad and suggested that they look through some of the styles to see what they would like. "I know that you want it long, but you will need to decide whether to go for straight or curly. While you are thinking about it, I'll pierce your ears." A couple of sharp stings later, Alex was sporting a pretty new pair of studs. "What style do you think would suit me most, Ella?" asked Alex after they had been studying the iPad for a while. Ella showed them a couple of options which Alex and Amy really liked, so Alex told Ella that she could choose between the two. You are an easy girl," said Ella. "It takes a lot of my clients' ages to decide and often they come up with something quite unsuitable. I think this style, which is called beach waves, would really suit you because it will look great and is easy to take care of." "Why is it called beach waves?" asked Alex. Ella shrugged and said, "Not sure, but I think it's supposed to look as though you have just come out of the sea and partly dried your hair." "Like Daniel Craig?" asked Alex. "Not at all like Daniel Craig," said Ella sternly. "Now relax, you silly girl, and let me work my magic on you." 3 hours later, Alex looked in the mirror and was stunned by what he saw. "Ella, you are an absolute artist. I am delighted." When Amy returned to collect Alex, she too was impressed. "Alex, you will need to be careful because you are going to have a whole troop of boys following you around." "Such a pity that I'm only attracted to girls, isn't it?" he said. A brief smile flashed across Amy's face, but she did not say anything. Jess was all packed and waiting for them when they got back. "Hey, what have you done with my brother Alex?" she asked when she first took in Alex's new look. "You are just seeing a different side of your brother," Alex assured her. The trip up to Manchester went surprisingly smoothly. For a change, there were no accidents or road works on the motorway and they made good time. The camp was being held on the outskirts of Manchester and the players were staying at a hotel near the training center. Alex insisted on coming in with Jess and making sure that she was registered with the club. "Jess, if I don't do this, Mom is going to go mental. She'll be stressed enough as it is, with you being gone and my change. I want to be able to assure her that you are completely safe." Jess hugged him as they parted. "Alex, I love you. Thanks so much for doing this. I'll make sure that I'm always there for you too." On the way back to London, Amy had a suggestion. "Alex, I've been thinking. Why don't you stay with me for the next week or so? I'm going to spend some time with my parents at their place in the south of France, but that isn't for 2 weeks. Mel, my flatmate, is away all summer and she won't mind you using her room. That way I can give you much more coaching and we can have fun hanging out together. I really like the idea of having a girlfriend that I can do things with." "Amy, that would be wonderful," said Alex excitedly. "Are you sure it's no trouble?" "No, Alex, you would be doing me a favor. I hate being by myself, especially at night." "Well, I wouldn't want to be in the way, especially if you wanted to entertain a boy in the evening," said Alex with some embarrassment. Amy gave a short, bitter laugh. "I've sworn off boys, Alex, at least for the foreseeable future. My recent experiences have not been good. Perhaps I've been unlucky, or perhaps I seem to end up with arseholes. Anyway, don't give that another thought. I'm sorry you have had bad experiences with my fellow XYs, but I'm really glad that I can stay with you until you go away. Mom will be back by then, so it will work out very well." During the rest of the drive back to London, Amy took the opportunity of schooling Alex about all the little things he would need to master to present as a girl. Although he had not yet started lessons with the voice coach from the theater group, he had studied some videos online and Amy was able to give him further feedback. They drove straight to Alex's house and collected all his new clothes before going over to Amy's flat. "I know that you need to get your mom's car back, so let's do that now and then we can go out and get a drink and something to eat," suggested Amy once they were unpacked. You need all the practice you can get going out as a girl. Once they had returned the car, they took a taxi to a pub not far from Amy's flat. It wasn't too busy and they managed to get a table to themselves. "Is it okay for me to have a beer?" asked Alex as he prepared to buy the first round. "Well, I'm having one," replied Amy. "But I'd suggest that we both get halves, as it is not unlikely that some bloke will buy us another." "Being a girl is getting more and more attractive," laughed Alex. Amy rolled her eyes and said, "I hope you still think that in another week." Sure enough, after a few minutes 2 men approached their table and asked if they could join them. "Sorry boys, not tonight. We are having a girls-only evening," said Amy with a smile. "What a waste," muttered one of the men as they left. This happened twice more before Amy and Alex decided to call it a night. "Let's go back to the flat and order a curry and just relax without having to fend off the male population of London," suggested Amy, and Alex agreed. "Welcome to the world of women," said Amy as they began to walk home. "Does this happen often?" asked Alex. "All the time," replied Amy with a sigh. After they had ordered from an Indian restaurant and opened a bottle of wine, Amy made an announcement. "Right, Alex, we are having a girly evening together, and this means that we are going to do each other's nails. I'll do your first and then you can try doing mine." 15 minutes later, Alex was admiring 10 bright red toenails. "My turn," said Amy. "Don't worry if you make a mistake, it's not permanent." Alex's first attempt was reasonable and Amy only had to make a few adjustments. "We'll do our fingernails after we eat," she said. "And after we've had more wine," said Alex, and they both giggled. Because Alex's nails needed quite a lot of shaping, the process took longer than the toes, but when they were finished they both agreed that the effect was worth the extra time. "So Amy, you know my plans for the rest of the summer. How about you?" asked Alex as they sipped their wine. "When I get back from France, I have a job lined up at a summer camp teaching girls football." "Jess said that you were a tough player," said Alex. Amy gave a little laugh. "Well, I am competitive," she said, "it's just my nature. I think that may be why I have had problems with boys. They all seem to want to prove that they are better than me, and it becomes really tiresome." "I can see that," said Alex sympathetically. "Did you ever want to be a footballer full-time, like Jess wants to be?" "Maybe when I was younger, but not now. For me, football is a game I love, but I wouldn't want it to be a career. I'm planning to go into medicine, but I need to do some more courses before I apply. That shouldn't be too difficult, so I am looking forward to a fairly easy year before the real work starts." "What about you, Alex?" "I'm not sure, but my plan is to work this year while I decide." They spent the rest of the evening drinking wine and talking in a very easy manner, and both were surprised when they saw that it was past midnight. "Thanks, Amy," said Alex as they parted for the night. "I have really enjoyed being with you today." "Me too," said Amy. "Sleep well." They both slept well and met the next morning after 9 for breakfast. As Alex was preparing bacon and eggs for both of them, Amy disappeared into her bedroom and came out carrying a couple of dresses. "I think these would fit you, Alex. I don't need them anymore and you are welcome to keep them." Alex thanked her warmly and went into his room to try them on. One was a mid-calf cotton dress with a sleeveless black top and a full white skirt with black polka dots. When he modeled it for Amy, she nodded her approval. "I know how much you like wearing petticoats, Alex, and you can certainly do so with that dress." "Let's see the other one." The other dress was a knee-length buttercup yellow dress adorned with small white daisies. It had a gathered neck and short sleeves. It was also a good fit and looked really cute, just the sort of dress a young girl would wear. Alex gave a twirl, and to his delight the dress flared out and made him feel very girlish. "You wouldn't wear either of these dresses to work, but they are ideal for casual wear like today," said Amy. "I love them, Amy, thank you so much," said Alex sincerely. "I think I'll wear this one today. Do you have any plans for the day?" "I have a voice lesson at 11, but nothing after that." "Yes, I have some serious girl coaching to do." "You are going to practice walking in heels, doing your makeup and getting some inexpensive jewelry, window shopping and whatever else I think is needed to help you become a young lady." "Thanks, Amy," said Alex, getting up and giving her a hug. The voice lesson from the theater coach lasted about an hour and Alex found it invaluable. With his theater background, he was able to learn quickly and left the session with a number of exercises to practice. The rest of the day was spent as Amy had outlined. She proved to be a demanding coach, and by the end of the day Alex felt quite drained. Because of that and the need to get up early, Amy and Alex elected to have an early night. Alex begins work when the alarm rang at 7 a.m. Alex gave a little groan, but after a couple of minutes he got up and went through to the bathroom where he shaved closely and took a quick shower. He and Amy had agreed that he should attempt his makeup and she would check and make any changes necessary. After about 15 minutes he was reasonably satisfied, so he got dressed in the clothes he had set out the night before. He had chosen to wear his black pencil skirt with a white blouse, and so he used some control panties to ensure there were no inappropriate bulges. He slipped on his 3-inch heels for last-minute practice, even though he would be wearing his trainers for the trip into the city. He was just getting breakfast organized when Amy came into the kitchen yawning. "Alex, you look great and you have done a decent job of your makeup. Just a couple of small adjustments needed and you'll be set." Alex was feeling a little nervous, so Amy did her best to distract him with cheerful chatter during breakfast. Once the dishes were cleared away, Amy made some minor changes to Alex's makeup before declaring him perfect. "Good luck, Alex," said Amy as she watched him walk out the front door. "I'll be thinking of you and I can't wait to hear about your first day." Alex enjoyed the walk to the Underground, feeling the gentle breeze wafting up his skirt. He did not have to worry about taking short steps as the pencil skirt ensured that was the case. He managed to get a seat on the first train and was careful to sit with his knees together as Amy had drilled into him. A couple of young men looked at him with interest, but otherwise no one took any notice. From the station near the city center it was only a short walk to Sue's office, which was on the 9th floor of a modern building. He took the lift and walked down the corridor to 905 and entered. "Can I help you?" asked a young woman seated at a reception desk. Alex cleared his throat nervously and in his most feminine voice said, "I'm Alex. I'm going to be doing some temporary work here and was told to report to Ms. Briggs." The young woman smiled and called out, "Rachel, Sue's daughter is here to start work." A tall dark-haired woman came out of an inner office and came to greet Alex. "Hello, you must be Jess. We have been looking forward to meeting you." "Hey everyone," she said. "Come and meet our new girl Jess." Two other young women got up from their desks and wandered over. "Jess, this is Sarah, Jody, and Cass. You will meet Lori and Marcia in a couple of weeks when they get back from holiday. Welcome, it is so nice to have you." Alex took a deep breath and said, "Actually, my name is Alex and Jess is my sister. Something came up at the last minute and I agreed to take her place. I hope that will be okay." Rachel looked closely at Alex and was about to speak when Alex rushed on. "You are right, I am a new girl and in more ways than one. I've just started transitioning and so I'm a bit nervous. I know I'm not a real girl yet, but I promise to do my best and not let any of you down." No one spoke for a moment until finally Rachel said, "Does your mom know about this? Me transitioning or me taking Jess's place?" "Both," said Rachel. "No. I think she'll be surprised." Rachel gave a short bark of laughter. "That's an understatement if ever I heard one. How long have you been transitioning?" "Since Thursday, so I've still got all my boy bits and none of the girl parts yet, if you know what I mean," said Alex apologetically. This was greeted with guffaws of laughter from the group. "Yes, I think we can just about get our heads around that," said Rachel drily. There was an awkward silence for several seconds until Rachel said, "Right, we had better get you started then. Did you bring any other shoes?" "Oh yes," said Alex, pulling his black heels from his bag. "I'm a bit new to wearing them, so I thought I'd better wear my trainers too and from the office." "Don't worry, Alex. We will make sure that you get lots of practice walking in heels," said Cass with a grin. "Okay, Alex, you are going to be the office dog's body, which means that you will be helping anyone who needs it at the time. Are you good on a computer?" "Oh yes, I'm pretty comfortable in that area." "Good," said Rachel, "because as you can imagine the bulk of our work is done online, although we also do quite a bit of personal visiting of our clients." You will also be our tea and coffee girl and runner of errands, so Cass is right, you will get lots of practice in heels. I expect your feet will be uncomfortable at first, but as you'll see, that is all part of being a girl. I expect that, said Alex. And thank you all so much for letting me work here and making me welcome. Alex spent the next hour with Rachel getting to know the office routine and what everyone's role was. Alex was then asked to make tea and coffee and to take it to the others, which he was happy to do. He then spent the rest of the morning shadowing Cass at reception and particularly learning about the telephone system and to who calls needed to be directed. As lunchtime approached, Alex was sent to a nearby deli to get lunch orders for the girls. As he walked down the corridor, he enjoyed the sounds of his heels clicking on the hard floor. So how are you enjoying being in skirts, Alex? Asked Sarah as they ate their lunch. You may not believe this, but I love it and have no wish to go back to trousers. You may change your mind come winter, replied Sarah with a smile. I don't think so, said Alex, because then I get to wear stockings. Definitely overrated, declared Sarah firmly. Although most of the work was done electronically, there was still the need for documents to be scanned and copies made, and Alex spent most of the afternoon doing this work. When 5 o'clock came, Alex was glad to step back into his trainers for the journey home. You did well today, Alex, said Rachel as they were all leaving. I hope you enjoyed it. Very much, thank you, Ms. Briggs. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. The trip home on the tube was less pleasant than the morning commute as the train was very crowded. Alex found himself squashed against a middle-aged man who did not believe in deodorant and a younger man who leered at Alex whenever they made eye contact, so he was relieved when the train arrived at his stop and he could get out into the fresh air. Amy was waiting to greet him with a large glass of wine, which he gratefully accepted. So tell me about your first day, said Amy as they sat together on the sofa. Alex was surprised how interested Amy was in what seemed to Alex a fairly uneventful working day and made a mental note to reciprocate when it was his turn to ask about Amy's day. Oh, I almost forgot, said Amy. This package came for you today. And she handed over a bulky plastic-wrapped bag. Alex opened it and found the slips and petticoats he had ordered online. He modeled them for Amy, who was amused at how excited he was with his new finery. I'm delighted with them and can't wait to wear them to work tomorrow, Alex said. Amy laughed and said, Alex, you have only been a girl for a few days and you're a more girly than anyone I know. Don't worry, I think it is very cute. Amy had cooked dinner, and after they had eaten they changed into their night clothes and watched a film on TV. Well, is being a girl meeting your expectations, Alex? Asked Amy just before they headed off to bed. I wasn't sure what to expect, replied Alex. I knew it would be a challenge, but I must say that so far I've enjoyed it immensely. As the week wore on, Alex found that he needed less and less help from Amy with his makeup, and by Friday he was doing it all by himself. Life at the office fell into a familiar routine, and Alex found that he got on well with the girls, who seemed to accept this rather unusual addition to their office. On the weekend, Amy suggested that she and Alex go over to a local park and kick a football about. Although Alex was a rugby player, he did have a natural ability in most sports, so he was able to be a reasonable training partner for Amy. A few boys were also playing a casual game and invited Amy and Alex to join them. The boys were surprised to find that Amy was more than their equal, and she and Alex thoroughly enjoyed themselves. Alex had been getting regular calls and texts from Jess, and he was delighted to find that her camp was going very well. Are you glad that you did it instead of being in Mom's office? He asked her. No question, Alex. This has been the highlight of my life so far, and it wouldn't have been possible without you. I feel quite guilty being here while you are stuck as an office girl. Jess, I'm loving it and I'm having a wonderful time with Amy, so you just enjoy yourself. Alex's second week began in much the same way as his first, but on Wednesday there was a big change. Sue returns. It was just after lunch and Alex had gone out with Sarah to drop off some dresses to a client who had expressed an interest in them. Rachel was busy in her office when her phone rang. The caller display showed that it was Sue. Hello, Sue. I wasn't expecting to hear from you for a few days. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Rachel. The last part of our trip was cancelled because of security concerns, so they offered to fly us back earlier, so I accepted. I just got home and I've been trying to get hold of Jess and Alex, but they are not picking up. Could you put Jess on the line, please? There was an awkward silence before Rachel replied. Sue, Jess isn't here. Oh, that's okay. Just get her to call me when she gets back. No, Sue, you don't understand. Jess isn't working here. She hasn't been the whole time. Alex said that something had come up and she was unable to work for us. What? Sue yelled down the phone. I don't believe this, Rachel. She just announced she wasn't coming and left you in the lurch. Sue was sounding very angry and Rachel hastily tried to reassure her. Oh no, she didn't leave us in the lurch. Alex has taken her place. Alex, said Sue incredulously, you mean that you have Alex working for us? That's right, and Alex is doing very well, considering. Considering what? Asked Sue suspiciously. Look, Sue, this is rather awkward. Alex is out of the office at the moment and can't explain what has happened. I really think it would be best if you came down here to see for yourself. Sue gave a deep sigh and said she would come straight down to the office. She arrived about an hour later and had only just started talking to Rachel when Alex and Sarah arrived back. Hi, Mom, welcome back. We weren't expecting you for a few days. You didn't have a problem, did you? Sue's mouth dropped open as she looked at her stepson. Alex, she shrieked. Why are you wearing that skirt and those heels? Alex looked down at his skirt and said, well, the lady at the clothing store you recommended for Jess said the skirt was appropriate for the office. That's not what I meant and you know it. Alex, where is Jess? Why isn't she working here and why are you dressed as a girl? Which one would you like me to answer first? Asked Alex calmly. Alex, I don't give a shit which you answer first, snarled Sue. Just tell me what the hell is going on. Jess is in Manchester. The club contacted her after about the football camp. Apparently someone pulled out and they offered her a place. She didn't want to let you down and wasn't going to go, but I persuaded her by saying I would fill in here. I was curious what it would be like spending the summer as a girl, so it seemed like a good opportunity. Sue seemed completely overwhelmed by this and she sank into a chair with her head in her hands. She suddenly jerked upright. How do you know he call was genuine and not some sick group out to exploit young girls? She snapped. I got the club's contact details from the internet and called them. They said that the invitation was completely genuine. You had agreed earlier to her going, so it seemed just a question of finding a replacement here. And how did she get up to Manchester by herself? Demanded Sue. Mom, I drove her up and went into the hotel with her and made sure that she was taken care of by the appropriate club officials. We have been in regular contact and she's doing really well, explained Alex patiently. I can't handle this at the moment, this is all too much, so I'm going home. But Alex, I'll tell you this, I expect you to stay as a girl for the rest of the summer and you will continue to work here in the office after Jess returns home, understood? Yes, Mom, said Alex. And Alex, when you get home you won't be changing back into a boy because I'm going to confiscate all your clothes. It's skirts and dresses for you, Missy, so get used to it. She had a few words of apology with the rest of the staff and then stormed out. The long silence was eventually broken by Alex. Actually, I think that went quite well, he said. Two of the girls had to hold onto the wall, they were laughing so hard. Sarah was in tears. Stop it, Alex, I'm close to wetting myself, she howled. After they had settled down, Cass looked at Alex and said, So Alex, you are not really transitioning, are you? Probably not, said Alex. But hey, you never know. You really did this so your sister could go on this amazing football camp with Manchester United, persisted Cass. I think that is a pretty fucking awesome thing to do for you, sister. No, Alex protested. That wasn't the only reason. What then? Asked Cass. It seemed like a good way to meet girls. This time Sarah did have to make a rapid trip to the toilet, while desperately holding her sides. When she got back she said, Alex, no offense love, but do you really think most girls would be attracted to a bloke who wears skirts and dresses? Alex looked a little crestfallen. It seems I was misinformed, he said. The laughter started again, and it was some time before things returned to normal. "Well, it looks as though we have you for the rest of the summer anyway," said Rachel, "and I for one am very pleased about that. Alex, you just bring this place to life." "Here, here," cried the others, and Alex blushed with embarrassment and pleasure. They decided to finish a little earlier than usual, and the four women insisted on taking Alex for a drink, so it was almost 7 o'clock when he reached home. He had called Amy earlier explaining the situation, and she promised to drop around with his clothes and cosmetics. He had also managed to contact Jess and brought her up to date with the situation. Jess promised to give her mom a call when she got the chance. When Alex walked into the house, Sue called to him from the sitting room. He went in and noticed that Sue was nursing a large gin and tonic. "Come here so I can get a proper look at you," she said. Sue stood a little uncertainly and walked around Alex, regarding him from every angle. "You certainly look convincing," she finally said, and then finally unable to contain herself any longer, she flung her arms around Alex, hugged him fiercely, and then began to cry. Alex held her until the sobbing subsided. "Alex, I'm sorry. I was shocked and angry earlier when I saw you in the office and I took it out on you. I should never have done that. I had a long talk with Rachel and she told me what a great employee you have been and how all the other girls like you. I've been sitting here with 2 large gins and now I'm a bit drunk and remorseful. Please forgive me." "Nothing to forgive, Mom," said Alex, giving her a kiss on the cheek. "You'd better get changed," sniffed Sue. "And you can wear your boy clothes. I didn't touch them and you don't have to work at the office anymore." Alex guided Sue to the sofa and sat down with his arm around her. "Mom, I like working at the office," he said gently, "and I like dressing like this, so no, I don't want to change back into boy mode. My friend Amy is bringing the rest of my clothes over, and when she does I'll change into a dress. I want to do this, Mom, I really do." "Alex, are you transgender?" asked Sue. "I don't think so, Mom, but what I really want is to be your daughter for the summer." "But why?" whispered Sue. "Because you are such a great mom and I love you," replied Alex, and Sue began to cry again. Just then there was a knock at the door and Alex went to answer it and found Amy on the doorstep with a suitcase containing Alex's clothes and makeup. "Amy, thank you so much for doing this," said Alex, giving her a hug. "No problem, Alex. After you called I decided to leave for France a couple of days earlier, so I needed to get this to you. How is your mom taking it?" Suddenly Alex became conscious that Sue had joined him at the door. "Amy, this is my mom, Sue Bowman. Mom, this is Jess's and my friend Amy," said Alex quickly. "Are you the young lady that has helped transform my son Alex into a girl?" asked Sue directly. Amy looked uncomfortable. "Well, yes, I suppose I am Ms. Bowman," she said awkwardly. "Well, you have done a terrific job, Amy. He looks very convincing and has the makings of a very proper young lady, thank you. And by the way, my name is Sue and Alex and I insist that you join us for a meal. It won't be spectacular because I have had a couple of G&Ts, but I promise not to poison you." Amy tried to protest, but this was completely swept aside by Sue. "Alex, since Amy has brought all your clothes over, why don't you put on the dress that you promised to change into?" said Sue as she shooed Alex upstairs with the suitcase. A few minutes later Alex rejoined them wearing the yellow and white dress that Amy had given him. "Alex, you look very sweet. Now I want you to keep Amy company while I come up with something for us in the kitchen." Alex and Amy sat on the sofa and Alex gave a detailed account of how the day had unfolded. "So you are still going to be working in your mom's office as a girl?" asked Amy. "Yes," said Alex with a smile. "Good," said Amy with an emphasis that surprised Alex. Just then Sue called them into the kitchen where she had made an omelette and salad. Sue described her trip in the Sahara and was pleased at the excited response she got and all the questions that Alex and Amy threw at her. When they finished eating, Sue began to feel very tired and excused herself. Amy also decided that she needed to finish her packing at home and the two exchanged a goodbye hug at the door. Sue was still asleep when Alex left the next morning. The day passed normally and when Alex arrived home Sue was waiting for him. "Alex, I didn't want to pry, so I have not looked in your room at your clothes, but could you please model them for me because I want to see what additions we may need to make?" Appearance is everything in my business, so if you are going to continue working for me, you will need to look the part. Half an hour later, when Alex had finished his fashion show, Sue sat him down. What you have, Alex dear, is very appropriate. However, last night you said that you wanted to spend the summer as my daughter. This means that you and I need to do a serious mother and daughter shopping expedition this Saturday. No excuses, young lady. This is an order from your mother. Alex's face lit up with pleasure. Mom, that would be great. I'm really looking forward to it. A mother and daughter day. Alex and Sue took the Underground into the city the next morning after breakfast. At Sue's suggestion, Alex wore the yellow dress that Amy had given him. He paired it with a blue denim jacket and a pair of white trainers he had bought the day before. A navy-colored straw body bag completed his ensemble. We are going to one of my favorite boutiques first, said Sue. Ray has really good dresses and skirts for young women. I should know because I bought most of them for her. And Alex, I forbid you to look at the price tags. They won't be the price we'll be paying, and I have longed to do this for years. I just didn't expect to do it with my son. Sorry, Mom. Don't be sorry, you silly girl. I'm going to be having the time of my life. Oh, I hope you don't mind me calling you a girl. No, Mom, I love girls, so I look on it as a compliment. As they ascended on the escalator, Alex was again thrilled with the feel of warm air rushing up his legs and billowing his dress. One of the problems of wearing a dress, said Sue. Alex gave a big grin. Not for this girl, he said. The shop was a short walk from the Underground station, and when they entered, the middle-aged woman, who was adjusting some clothing on a rack, gave a little cry of pleasure on seeing Sue. Gemma, it's lovely to see you, said Sue after they had embraced. This is my brand new daughter Alex, and between us we are going to give her wardrobe a boost. Gemma's smile grew even broader at the prospect of a good sale. Excellent, she cried. Do you have anything specific in mind, Alex? Pretty dresses, replied Alex promptly. Well, you have come to the right place, said Gemma. Sue, why don't you and Alex go through to one of the changing rooms and I'll bring in some dresses for you to try. A few minutes later she came in carrying half a dozen dresses. Let's start with these and see how they look, she said. Alex and Sue fell in love with the first dress he tried on. It featured a sleeveless white top with a full, knee-length skirt. It was gorgeously adorned with a bright floral pattern over a predominantly white background. However, what really caught the eye was the irregular black background around the hem. Once Alex was zipped into the dress and did a little twirl, he knew that he had to have it, and Sue agreed. It's lovely, Alex. It makes you look like a beautiful young woman. 2 skater dresses followed. The first was a short-sleeved knitted dress with a plain black top with a bouncy black and blue striped skirt below. The second had more of a wow factor. It had a black halter neck that ended in an explosion of flowers that extended into the white skirt. It was definitely a dress that would turn heads. Alex and Sue added them to the pile of probables. Alex then tried on a couple of simple sheath-like dresses, but these were rejected as being a little too plain. The final dress was different. The top had the appearance of a short-sleeve sweater. It was white with red and blue rings at the edge of the sleeves and at the waist. It almost had the look of something a girl might wear for tennis. The skirt of the dress made no suggestion of tennis, however. It was pleated and white like the top and ended just below the knee. What made it stand out was the blue stripe, which from in front ran from the right to left and was crossed at a diagonal by a similar red stripe coming from the left. Behind, the stripes crossed again. The overall effect was both bold and striking. Alex and Sue were in complete agreement over their 4 favorites. I'd like to wear this one now, Mom, said Alex, indicating the dress with the stripes. And I want to wear it with this, he said, pulling a folded petticoat out of his bag. Once he had the dress and petticoat on, he gave another twirl and a squeak of delight. You are really loving this, aren't you? Said Sue with a big smile. Yes, Mom, I really am. They handed the dresses to Gemma, who started to wrap them. Alex went and browsed through the racks and suddenly pulled out a dress. Mom, I think you would look great in this. Your turn to try something on. Pink, yellow and white flowers were spread across an elegant halter-neck midi dress on a jet black background. A narrow cord of the same material accentuated the waist. Sue took the dress and went back into the changing room. She emerged soon after with a happy smile on her face. Alex, you have an excellent eye. I really like this and I'm going to follow your lead and wear it out of the shop. After the shopping success, Alex and Sue found a small restaurant where they had lunch. I hope you are feeling strong, Alex, said Sue. Because we are only just getting started and there should be quite a load by the time we are done. I'm ready, Mom, bring it on. Okay, said Sue, you are good for pretty dresses for now, so let's go for some fun casual clothes this afternoon. Their first stop was Topshop, where Alex was immediately attracted to a crushed satin midi skirt in a bright lemon color. I have just the jacket to go with that, said Sue, handing Alex a short black leather biker jacket. Every girl needs a black leather jacket. Sue was right, it was a very good combination. Alex tried on a number of other skirts and tops without seeing anything they both liked, so after paying for the jacket and skirt they moved on. H&M was close by, and as soon as they entered, a pink pleated mini skirt attracted Sue's attention. You will look really cute in this, Alex. Let's find a white top to pair it with. This did not take long and the outfit was added to the growing pile Alex was carrying. Sue put a few more tops and a pink hoodie in the basket before they went to the cashier. This is really fun, said Sue as they left the shop. We just need to get you some shoes and I think we will be done. There was a large chain shoe shop close by and they went in and began to look through the huge selection of women's shoes. They had selected 4 pairs of shoes and sandals in different styles and were heading towards the counter to pay for them, when Alex stopped suddenly. Mom, I have to have those, he said, pointing to a pair of black shoes with small, white polka dots and a 3-inch heel. Sue laughed and said, Of course you must, darling, they will look so cute with your new pink skirt. Oh, Alex, you are beginning to think just like a girl. You are a good influence, Mom. By now it was late in the afternoon and even Alex, who was super fit, was beginning to flag. Sue had the perfect antidote. We need a drink, she said, and steered them into a pub that they were passing. They found a table and Sue returned from the bar with 2 large cocktails. They sat and talked over the events of the day and Alex thought that he had rarely seen his mother so relaxed. After an hour or so, Sue rose to her feet. Alex, let's end the evening in style and go out to dinner somewhere in the West End and then we will get a minicab home. What do you say? Mom, your suggestions have been right on the mark all day. Let's do it. Sue had a good knowledge of restaurants in the area and she led Alex to a family-owned Italian restaurant not far from the pub. Sue ordered a bottle of Chianti that she knew, before adjourning to the ladies. While she was away, there was a beep on Alex's phone which signified an incoming text. He read it with growing pleasure and sent a quick reply. When Sue returned, they perused the menu, ordered their meals and sipped their wine. Mom, said Alex, I just had a text from Jess and we have to go to Manchester tomorrow. What's wrong? Said Sue, immediately sounding alarmed. Nothing's wrong, just the opposite in fact. The club has arranged a game for the best of the girls in the camp, with Manchester City, who are having a similar camp. Man U is so impressed with Jess that they have her in the team. She is overjoyed and we have to go up and watch her. I suppose so, said Sue, reluctantly. What is it, Mom? What's bothering you? Sue sighed. Oh, Alex, it's just me. I'm having so much difficulty accepting that my daughter may become a professional footballer. It's light years from me and how I was brought up. Alex reached out and squeezed his mother's arm. Mom, he said softly, you have to learn to let go and to trust her. Football is Jess's passion. She has dreamed of this all her life. You have to support her or risk losing her. What do you mean? Jess is never going to be a girl who is remotely interested in clothes. She desperately wants your approval in the field she has chosen, which is football. Mom, how often have you gone to one of her games? Alex, I hate football. And she hates fashion. If you go tomorrow and show her your support, it will mean so much to her. Sue sighed and said, You are right, Alex. Of course we need to go. You might just enjoy it, said Alex as the first course arrived. As they ate, their conversation continued. Did you enjoy today, Mom? Asked Alex. Sue's face relaxed into a warm smile. I had a lovely day. I really did. Alex smiled as well. I thought you might. He hesitated before going on. Mom, I know that you are still bewildered why I am doing this, and it is very complicated and multifaceted. I have to say that I am really enjoying presenting as a girl and having you buy me dresses and pretty clothes. But a part of me wanted to do this for you. I knew that you have desperately wanted to do this with your daughter. Well, you are doing it with your temporary daughter. Sue's eyes grew wide and she just stared at her stepson. Alex, I'm lost for words. That is the greatest gift you could possibly have given me. And a tear rolled slowly down her cheek. Mom, joked Alex, don't start crying. You'll have to go to the ladies again and people will begin to talk. Okay, said Sue, dabbing her eyes, no tears. I won't spoil what has been a wonderful day and still is a great evening. Jess, Alex and Sue, the evening was a great success and Sue ordered a mini cab to take them home. There is no way we are carrying all these clothes and shoes on the underground, she said, and Alex agreed. They left early the next morning to ensure that they were at the ground well before the kickoff. Alex was wearing the pink, pleated mini skirt they had bought the day before, and he paired it with a plain white top and carried his new leather jacket in case it got cool. Alex had texted Sue and she was delighted that they were coming. Again, they were lucky with the traffic and arrived at the ground more than half an hour before the start. There were not many spectators, mostly the staff of the two clubs and the families of the players. Alex and Sue were able to get seats near the halfway line and Alex spent the time explaining the basic rules and in particular what Jess's role was likely to be. Alex was watching Sue as the players came out onto the field and he saw her give a little jump when she recognized Jess. The game started and although Alex was predominantly a rugby player, he had a good knowledge of football and was able to explain the action on the field to Sue. He was delighted that whenever Jess had the ball, Sue would jump to her feet with a squeal of excitement. The players were mostly girls Jess's age and many were on the verge of playing professionally, so the standard was high. As a central midfielder, a lot of the play from the United team went through Jess and she rose to the occasion splendidly. Just before halftime, a beautifully struck through ball from Jess found one of the United strikers unmarked and she had no problem rifling the ball into the net. This had Sue on her feet yelling loudly and jumping up and down. During the interval, Sue could not stop talking about the game and how well Jess was doing. In the second half the pace picked up, with both sides mounting promising attacks, especially the City girls who were a goal behind. Towards the end of the match the ball came to Jess well inside the City half. She shaped to pass and the defenders instinctively moved to counter the threat. With barely a glance at the goal, Jess unleashed a rising shot that rocketed into the net behind the stunned goalkeeper. Jess was immediately surrounded by her teammates and showered with congratulations, but her head jerked upwards when she heard the primal scream of joy coming from her mother on the terrace. The game ended soon after and as the players trooped off the field, Jess waved to Alex and Sue to come down and join her. She waited near the steps to the terrace and was almost bowled over by Sue, who charged down the stairs and flung herself at her daughter. Jess, you were amazing, cried Sue when they finally separated, but by then Jess was being engulfed by Alex. After they had all regained their composure, Jess told them that there was a short reception to which families were invited and she showed them where to go, before disappearing to shower and change. Alex and Sue entered a large reception room where a number of family members of the players were starting to gather. They each had cups of coffee and some snacks while they waited. After about half an hour, Jess joined them. Sorry for the wait, you two, but the coaches wanted to go over things with us. Hey Alex, you look really cute in that skirt, said Jess, who was still on a high from the game and found it difficult to keep still. A few minutes later they were approached by a smartly dressed woman who introduced herself as one of the assistant managers of the women's team. Ms. Bowman, she said, addressing Sue, I just want to let you know that we are very impressed with Jess and would like to offer her a contract so that she could join us as soon as she finishes her schooling. We realize that Jess is underage and of course we would need your approval. Jess looked beseechingly at her mother. Well, I'd be extremely upset if you didn't offer her one. After all, she practically won the game for you, said Sue decisively. Jess stared at her mother in disbelief. Mom, you mean I can become a professional footballer? She gasped. You not only can, young lady, but you most certainly should. Even a football ignoramus like me can see that you have special talent. It would be a crime to waste it. We'll need to see what the terms are, of course, but you must take advantage while you can. Now it was Jess's turn to attack her mother, after which she could not stop jumping up and down and screaming, yes, 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 with each word a little louder than the last. After the assistant manager promised to be in contact with the details, she excused herself, leaving behind a small maelstrom of excitement. "Thank you, Mum, thank you, thank you, thank you," cried Jess, tears of joy pouring down her cheeks. It was some minutes before Jess was able to settle, but eventually Sue was able to have a sensible conversation with her. "Jess, if your camp is now officially over, are you planning to come back with us this evening?" asked Sue. "Yes, Mum, I have all my stuff with me, so we don't need to stop at the hotel." "Alex, I think you had better drive," said Sue with a smile. "And I will try to prevent this one climbing out the window." The trip home was especially joyful for Alex, as he had never seen his mum and Jess so happy together. They made one stop for petrol at a motorway service center, and as they were walking to the ladies, Jess leaned over to Alex and whispered, "I suspect that I have you to thank for this turnaround in Mom." "Nothing to do with me," said Alex primly, "I'm a good girl." Birthday celebrations. Sue's birthday was due to occur 4 days after their return from Manchester, so as soon as they had a chance, Alex and Jess got together with plans for a celebration. "I'm not sure what to get her," said Jess. "Don't worry, I have the perfect gift," replied Alex, and he outlined his plan. Jess looked a little surprised at first, but after a couple of minutes a slow smile spread across her face. "Alex, you are right, let's do it," she said. The day before her birthday, Sue received the news that Marcia, who filled the role of PA for her, and Sarah, the other buyer, would be leaving at short notice. "What a pain," she thought. "It's not going to be easy finding someone who will do a good job and also fit in with the other girls." Sue was by now back at the office, and her birthday fell on a working day. She was surprised to see Alex with a full garment bag as they both prepared to leave the house together. "What's that for, Alex?" "You will have to wait and see, Mum," was Alex's cryptic reply. The women at the office produced a birthday cake during the afternoon, and they all sang happy birthday lustily, much to Sue's embarrassment. At the end of the day, Alex opened the garment bag and handed Sue one of her fancy dresses, together with the matching shoes. He also produced one of the dresses that he and Sue had bought for him a few days before. "Birthday surprise, Mum, we are going out to dinner." "What about Jess?" "Oh, she'll be joining us." Alex hailed a taxi and they traveled south of the river to Sue's favorite restaurant, a small family-run establishment near Richmond. They were shown to a table for 3 in a small alcove where the waiter quickly brought them cocktails. They had just started to sip them when Jess arrived. When Sue caught sight of her daughter, her jaw dropped in surprise. Jess was wearing a stunning off-the-shoulder dress. The top was white, and below it stretched a knee-length A-line skirt with a gorgeous woodland print over a pale silver background. Jess grinned. "Cat got your tongue, Mom? I bet you didn't expect to see me in a dress, but hey, it's your birthday." "Jess, you look absolutely beautiful," gasped Sue. "I can't take all the credit, it was really Alex's idea," admitted Jess. They ordered their meals and settled down happily while really enjoying their time together. When they finally pushed back their plates, Jess turned to Alex, who nodded in return. "Well, Mom, it's present time," she said, and slid 2 small gift-wrapped boxes across the table. "These are from Alex and me, we hope you like them." Sue opened them slowly, relishing the moment. "Wow, it's beautiful," she said as she pulled out a silver bracelet. It featured the design of an eagle and was the work of a Haida artist. "You may not have seen this before, Mom," explained Jess. "But it is from a native artist on the west coast of Canada, and it's one of their traditional designs." Sue slid it onto her wrist and gazed at it. "I love it, I really do, thank you so much." When Sue opened the other box, she was delighted to find a matching pair of earrings, which she immediately put on. "What fantastic presents, you two, thank you, thank you." "Oh, we are not done yet," said Jess as she handed Sue an envelope made of high-quality paper. Sue took out the single sheet of paper and read the writing with growing pleasure and amusement. I, Jess Bowman, being of sound mind, hereby pledge that at least once a week I will go out with my mother, Sue Bowman, for whatever activity she names, and during this outing I will wear a dress and heels of Sue Bowman's choosing." When Sue finished reading it, she burst out laughing and then stood and hugged her daughter. "Jess, I couldn't ask for anything better from you," she said. "My turn," said Alex as he gave Sue a longer and bulkier envelope. Sue opened the envelope and saw a smaller envelope which was marked, "Read this first," and underneath were a sheaf of papers. Intrigued, Sue opened the second envelope and pulled out 2 sheets of stiff paper. She gave a little start as she read the first one, which said in large print, "Alex Harvey no longer wishes to be the stepson of Sue Bowman." "Read on," said Alex as he saw Sue's shocked expression. Sue looked at the second sheet and appeared stunned. On it was written, "For this reason he has legally changed his name to Alex Bowman, see enclosed certificate, and has instigated the legal process of having Sue Bowman adopt him as her son." Sue was unable to contain herself and burst into tears. It took a lot of comforting from Jess and Alex before Sue was able to speak. "Why, Alex, why?" she whispered. Alex reached out and took hold of Jess and Sue's hands. "Because you are the people in this world that I love with all my heart, and I really want us to be one family. Will you have me?" "Yes," screamed Sue and Jess together, and moments later they were all crying tears of joy. "This is the greatest possible birthday. It's beyond my wildest dreams," said Sue when she had recovered. She suddenly giggled and said, "I'm not sure which is the most remarkable, Alex becoming a Bowman or Jess agreeing to wear a dress." "Even more remarkable than me wearing a dress," grinned Alex. "Yes, my darling Alex, even more remarkable than that." The next day, when Jess got home the next day, she found her mother preparing dinner. "Where's Alex?" she asked. "Upstairs having a shower and doing his hair," Jess giggled and said. "I'm sure that he's finding it more effort since he got the extensions." Jess began to help her mother with the dinner. "Mom, I'm curious as to what changed your mind about me becoming a footballer. You were all against it before and now you are all for it. What gives?" Sue thought for a moment and then said, "I talked to Alex and he completely changed my thinking." "What did he say?" "He explained how much it meant to you and how much you needed my support. I think I was blind to that before and maybe wanted you to be more like me, but now I'm glad you are not. By the way, what made you suddenly want to go out with me to do girl things and to do it wearing a dress? I have been at you to do that for ages and you would always run the other way." Jess suddenly grinned. "I talked to Alex and he completely changed my thinking." Both women looked at each other and suddenly burst out laughing. "What's the joke?" asked Alex, who had just walked in. "We'll tell you over dinner, dear," said Sue as she finished laying the table. During the meal, Jess was looking at her mom and Alex, and then she looked down at herself and started to laugh. "Now what is it?" asked Alex in mock exasperation. "I'm looking at the 3 of us," said Jess. "And?" asked Alex. "Well, the teenage girl is dressed in a football shirt and shorts, Mom is wearing a tight pencil skirt and a silk blouse and looking ultra chic, and my brother is wearing a pretty summer dress, with a full skirt and probably a petticoat underneath. Not exactly your typical family scene, is it?" "Well, I suppose it is different," admitted Alex. "Well, Alex, my dear brother, or maybe sister, it doesn't really matter which you are. But anyway, since you have been in skirts, this family has never been so close or so happy, so I think you should stay this way," said Jess firmly. "How long are you planning to stay this way, Alex?" asked Sue seriously. Alex took a deep breath. "A year at the very least, and if by then I feel as I do now, it will be a lot longer. Mom, I want to work for you. I think that I want to eventually train to be a buyer like you." Sue and Jess stared at him and he rushed on. "The last couple of weeks have been the best of my life. I feel as though I am a different person in a different universe. As soon as I put on a skirt or dress, I feel transformed and I don't think I'll be going back. There is something about being in the world of women that I can't describe but just feels so right." "You really mean it, don't you?" asked Sue quietly. Alex nodded and started to tear up. Sue and Jess both jumped up and came round and hugged him tightly. No one spoke for a long time. "Alex, if you are serious, I would love you to work with me," said Sue quietly. "Thanks, Mom, that would be just great." "Hey," said Jess. In a few years you could call yourselves Bowman and daughter. They all started to giggle and found it difficult to stop. Do you think that the girls at the office will accept me? Asked Alex anxiously. My darling Alex, said Sue earnestly, they simply adore you. They will be overjoyed that you will be staying on. They were just finishing the dishes and tidying up the kitchen when there was a knock at the door. Jess went to answer it and Alex and Sue could hear her talking. Someone to see you, Alex, Jess called out a few minutes later. Alex made his way to the door and was delighted to see Amy. Like Jess, she was dressed in a football shirt and shorts, and when she saw Alex standing there in the dress she had given him, her face lit up. Now that Jess is back and able to work at your mum's office, I thought that you might have gone back to wearing your regular clothes, she said. No, I've decided to work there full time, replied Alex. Amy's eyes widened. Will you continue to dress as a girl? Asked Amy tentatively. Oh yes, said Alex with a smile. This look is likely permanent. Amy appeared to be a little flustered and a couple of pink spots appeared on her cheeks. Alex, I know this is short notice, because I have only just got back from France, but I was wondering if you would like to come out with me tomorrow. That's really nice, I'd love to, said Alex. Were you thinking of shopping or something like that? Amy looked even more awkward. Well, no, not exactly. The thing is, Alex, I find you incredibly attractive and I would love to go out with you on a date, you know, a sort of girl-boy date, she finally managed to say. Alex looked surprised but very pleased. Wow, Amy, that would be amazing. I can wear jeans if you like. Don't you dare, shrieked Amy. I didn't mean that sort of girl-boy date. She stepped quickly forwards and pulled Alex towards her and held him with surprising power. Listen, Missy, you are a girl, a great girl, and if you go out with me you wear a dress or a skirt, she said in a husky voice. Got it? Alex hugged her back just as fiercely. Yes, Amy, I've got it. And then they kissed for a long time.